In many ways, Jonna Patton and Tony Frank have a lot in common. They lead people on a path to a better future. Tony presides over a major university that is changing the world. Jonna works at staying strong in order to change the course of a devastating disease for herself and for others.
It's amazing how much stronger I've gotten. It's like, wow.
She's willing to step in and do whatever it takes to help with the cause of MS or to help other people who are struggling.
Great. Keep it up. Thanks.
Both Jonna and Tony represent, express, and provide hope. Their stories come together in that one word, separated only by their unique experiences.
A legacy of an American land-grant university, firmly fixed on the horizon of the future.
Above all, the legacy of the land-grant university is one of hope and faith in the future. This is where the story of a humble and strong leader reconnects to the story of a champion.
So the champions have to be the type of person that can set aside their own things and focus on the greater good. That's why they're champions.
When Jonna was affected by MS in 1992, there were no treatments, so hope and faith in the future were all she had.
We didn't have hope. The first medicine came on the market, it was a lottery. So people had high numbers, people had low numbers. And we're not in a third world country, we're in the USA.
Good summer.
She thrives by sharing her optimism and story.
She's taken MS and made it positive and try to help others that are living with MS.
So she gives patients options like we give patients options. And not to give up. That's the main thing, not to give up.
Every 28 days for the past 13 years, Jonna has gone in for an infusion. Believe it or not, she relishes that time. It gives her the opportunity to journal, listen to motivational music, or cook up more ways to do fundraising.
I have multiple sclerosis, and so I'm here just to thank people for coming in. And
Case in point, a month-long MS fundraiser at the Cheyenne IHOP was capped off by a free pancake breakfast.
A gentleman at church found out that I'd done other fundraisers. He's the owner of IHOP, so he brought up being able to do it, and it is so exciting. Like when I go in to check in and pick up money, just to see the excitement, it's just another positive experience. Raising money. Someday we're going to get a cure.
Ready?
Jonna and her husband Tom did their first MS 150 ride in 2006. Now they do 4 to 5 MS rides a year all around the country to raise money and awareness.
Take off.
Just the hope that I feel when I'm out doing things like Bike MS and seeing that others are raising money, it's like there's a hope for the future.
Jonna suffers from a chronic disease, a disease that's unpredictable and unforgiving.
Now when I go through struggling times, the reason I'm able to get through them, I know that it's making me stronger, and I know that someday I'm going to help somebody else because of what I'm going through.
She's a champion to me through and through. You know, she never gives up, she keeps going, and she's all about just trying to make a difference. You know, life is too short to just kind of give up and sit down and do nothing.
How are you?
How are you? Great to see you. It's good to see you.
Today, there are 13 different treatments helping MS patients stay stable.
3, 2, 1, push, 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 hold, relax. Great job.
Research at places like Colorado State continues to make inroads to a greater understanding of this tricky foe.
They want to find out what's happening and how to help us that are living with this crazy disease.
But it's the stories of people like Jonna and Tony and places like CSU that keep us moving forward. Stories of people who refuse to give up. Stories of champions working together to fulfill the promise of tomorrow. Stories of people who fill us with hope.
Now it is my pleasure to ask Kim and Christy Dittmar, our 2015 Hope honorees, to do the honors of recognizing this year's MS champion. Kim, Christy.
Pictures. Yeah, sure. Thank you all for being here this evening. It is so exciting to participate in this process again. We were here last year, and what a great time it was, and what awesome evening this is. And I agree with Tony Frank, the staff here with the MS Society and this location have just been phenomenal this evening. So we do thank you all very much. So, it is my pleasure to talk about Jonna Patton tonight. Feeling a little wavery because we're such very close friends, and when you get an opportunity to talk about a close friend, it does get you, right? So, but we want to honor you tonight, Jonna, with your contributions to MS, to recognize your spirit of giving, your advocating efforts all over the region, the country, and overcoming the many challenges that you personally have faced and the encouragement that that brings to other people. A little background for you. Kim and I had a chance to meet Jonna about 10 years ago. She was moving through her MS process and dealing with some symptoms, and we had a connection at the rehab clinic. And one of the main tenets, if you will, of rehabilitation is to keep moving. And that movement is one of the keys, the main keys to overcome impairment, weakness, disability, etc. Well, Jonna just is the epitome of movement. You saw from the videos, right? She makes me feel really lazy. She had an opportunity to take advantage of a tool, a rehab device that you saw her wearing on her leg. And that was the start of many things for her. It allowed her to overcome some issues with walking, jogging, cycling, climbing. So anything movement, Jonna has been able to use the tools available to her. She's the only person that I know who actually writes or puts in her computer in a spreadsheet every minute that she exercises of every day. So let me give you a little explanation of that. So I'm an occupational therapist, CSU grad, yay. Was visiting with Jonna at one point about the effects of fatigue on exercise, which continues to be a very hot topic in our world, and asked her if she had regular exercise in her plan. And she looked real surprised at me and just kind of stared a little bit and reached down and pulled out a spreadsheet from her computer that had a column for the day, a column for the exercise, a column for the type, a column for the minutes, and a column for the effects of fatigue on her exercise. So, being very astounded with that, I told her that she definitely had raised the bar, because most people that I know say, oops, I forgot to exercise, or I guess I better get back to that, or I wish I would have, something like that. So the movement theme continues with Jonna and with her husband, Tom. The two of them in their marriage have committed to all of these many, many goals that you have seen up on the screen. They have biked all over the country. I'm so impressed. They even bought little bikes so that they could travel across the country and put them on the plane, and have stayed so active together. And that in and of itself is just this wonderful picture of marriage at its best, doing activity, movement together, and being happy in that realm as well. Jonna has volunteered in so many numerous ways. It's hard to think of them all, but the ones I'm aware of are she takes particular joy out of being on the MS call center. Now, how many of you would like to be available pretty much at any time of the day to receive a call and talk to someone who is in trouble or struggling or needs support and information? Not many of us would be willing to give in that realm, and Jonna does. As a person with MS, she's able to answer questions that might come from a newly diagnosed person who is so afraid or not knowing what the resources are, not knowing where to turn, and she's able to give them guidance. She's also provided legislative support. So talk about the spectrum. She's all over the map with her volunteerism and has been working with the Government Relations Committee for the National MS Society as an advisor. She's also a peer supporter, so she takes on personal relationships with people who have MS and helps them along their journey as well. And last, and however most importantly, Jonna, your faith in God's plan is such an inspiration and has impacted me so much. The choices that you make every day are based on that faith. And we are so thankful tonight that you will allow us to honor you as the 2016 MS champion. Would you come up, please?
Wow. Thank you, Kim and Christy, and thanks to all those who had nominated and selected me for this award. Thanks to my family and friends for being here this evening. I'd like to send out a heartfelt thanks to Susan Barstead. It has been a privilege working with you, getting ready for this incredible evening. I am humbled, honored, and excited to be receiving the MS Champion Award. Receiving this award feels like I'm living in a dream. I'm living in an amazing dream. My journey with MS began February 21st, 1992. I was on the court playing basketball and collapsed. After that evening, I was hospitalized twice, misdiagnosed 3 times. November 1997, I was finally told, you have multiple sclerosis. Over the years, I faced a multitude of ups and downs. In 2008, as a result of overwhelming fatigue and cognitive challenges, I had to leave the workforce on a disability retirement. On the positive side of retiring, I was able to get more involved and volunteer for the MS Society. It may sound crazy, but I thank God for letting me have multiple sclerosis. I value life more. I have a deeper appreciation for the abilities that I do have. I'm grateful that I was able to walk up on stage today The only assistance I needed was the help of my Bioness L300 foot drop device. I'm sure some of y'all are thinking, what in the world is she talking about? She looks so good. Well, Tom and I participated earlier this summer in our 6th Hike MS event. In previous years, we had attempted the 6-mile route. This year, we decided we're going to do the 2-mile route at the top of the mountain. Very scenic. Heck, I could do that. It's only 2 miles. I failed to pace myself. I'm not sure how far I was into the hike when I started struggling to put one foot in front of the other. No, it wasn't long, and I wasn't taking steps. I was shuffling my feet to move forward. That was the longest 2 miles I've ever endured. There are times when struggling through a relapse or struggling to embrace the new normal of the progression of the disease has presented, that I find myself saying, why? Why me? These are the times I have to remind myself, you have a choice. You can stay focused on the negative and be miserable, or you can find something positive about what you're going through. I remind myself that because of what I'm going through, I'm learning more about this crazy disease. I'm getting stronger, and that I'm going to be able to help somebody else down the road because of what I've been through. As I had mentioned, it was great retiring. I get to volunteer for the society. Another great aspect of being able to retire is that I got to focus more on fundraising. Anyone who has taken on fundraising knows that it's tough to do. As I have told others and remind myself, it's hard to ask for donations. It's harder living with MS. I have a wonderful support system. I am where I am today because of the love, support, and encouragement that I receive from my family, friends. That support system wouldn't be complete without having an amazing healthcare team that I have. You are amazing. Thank you, MS Society, for all that you are doing. When I was first diagnosed, there wasn't any FDA-approved treatments. Today, there are 13 approved treatments. It's exciting to see all the advancements to stop, restore, and end MS forever. We're going to beat this disease. Together, we are going to beat it. Most importantly, I would like to thank my incredible husband. Tom, you're there through the good, the bad, the ugly. You encourage me. Those times that I'm struggling, you always ask, what can I do? How can I help? During those times, heck, he's even done the dishes. Tom, you are my champion. Thank you, everyone, and God bless.